What if I told you that the reason many people over 60 keep losing muscle has very little to do with how much protein they eat? Every day, experts tell older adults to eat more chicken, more eggs, and more protein shakes. And while protein is certainly important, there is a major piece of the puzzle that almost nobody talks about. You could eat enormous amounts of protein every single day and still watch your strength decline. You could do everything you were told to do and still notice weaker legs, smaller arms, slower recovery, and less energy. Why? Because protein alone cannot build muscle if the machinery inside your muscle cells is no longer working properly. As we age, inflammation increases, blood flow decreases, mitochondria become damaged, and the signals that tell muscles to grow become weaker. In other words, the body becomes less responsive to the very nutrients that once helped build and maintain muscle. This is where certain fruits become incredibly important. These fruits do not build muscle because they contain protein. They build muscle because they contain unique compounds that improve circulation, reduce inflammation, protect muscle cells, and make your body far more efficient at using the protein you eat. And the first fruit on this list may surprise you. Watermelon is often dismissed as nothing more than sweet water. Many people think it is simply sugar with very little nutritional value, but that could not be further from the truth. Watermelon is actually one of the richest natural sources of a powerful amino acid called L-citrulline. Once consumed, citrulline enters the bloodstream and is converted into another compound known as L-arginine. This arginine is then used by the body to produce nitric oxide. Nitric oxide plays a critical role in muscle health because it relaxes and widens blood vessels. Wider blood vessels mean better circulation, and better circulation means more oxygen and nutrients can reach your muscles. This becomes especially important after the age of 60. As the years pass, blood vessels naturally become stiffer. The cells lining those vessels produce less nitric oxide than they once did. As a result, blood flow to muscles gradually decreases. Think about what that means. Even if you are eating plenty of protein, the amino acids from that protein may not be reaching your muscle fibers efficiently. The delivery system itself has become slower and less effective. Watermelon helps address this issue. Research has shown that watermelon consumption can reduce muscle soreness and improve recovery following physical activity. By improving blood flow, citrulline helps transport amino acids into muscle tissue while also assisting in the removal of waste products like ammonia and lactate that contribute to fatigue. But the benefits do not stop there. Watermelon also contains lycopene, the red pigment responsible for its vibrant color. Lycopene is a powerful antioxidant that helps protect muscle mitochondria from oxidative damage. Mitochondria are often called the power plants of your cells because they produce the energy muscles need to contract, repair, and grow. When mitochondria become damaged, muscle performance suffers dramatically. Supporting mitochondrial health means supporting muscle health. Just 2 cups of fresh watermelon can provide a meaningful amount of citrulline. And interestingly, the rind contains even higher concentrations than the flesh itself. Blending part of the rind into a smoothie may provide an even greater benefit. There's another reason citrulline is so valuable. During exercise, your body breaks down amino acids for energy, producing ammonia as a byproduct. High levels of ammonia do more than simply make you feel tired. Ammonia can directly interfere with muscle growth. In fact, elevated ammonia levels suppress one of the body's most important muscle-building pathways, known as mTOR, the master switch responsible for stimulating muscle protein synthesis. When ammonia levels remain high, that growth signal becomes weaker. Citrulline plays an essential role in the urea cycle, the process by which the body converts toxic ammonia into harmless urea that can be removed by the kidneys. By helping eliminate ammonia more efficiently, watermelon may allow muscle protein synthesis to resume more quickly after exercise. This means that the protein you eat has a better opportunity to actually become muscle. Watermelon also provides vitamin B6, an important nutrient involved in amino acid metabolism. Better amino acid metabolism means your body can use dietary protein more effectively instead of burning it for energy. Now let's move to another fruit that works through a completely different mechanism. Tart cherries may be one of the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory foods ever studied for muscle preservation. And chronic inflammation is one of the hidden reasons why muscle loss accelerates with age. After 60, many people live with a constant state of low-grade inflammation. It is not dramatic enough to cause immediate symptoms, but it quietly affects nearly every tissue in the body. Inflammatory molecules remain elevated, continuously interfering with normal muscle function. This creates 2 major problems. First, inflammation blocks the signals that tell muscle cells to absorb amino acids and build new proteins. Second, it activates pathways that actively break down existing muscle tissue. In other words, your body may be building less muscle while simultaneously destroying more of it. This combination is devastating. Tart cherries contain special compounds called anthocyanins, particularly cyanidin compounds, that help calm this inflammatory environment. Studies have shown that tart cherry supplementation can significantly reduce markers of muscle damage after intense exercise. Levels of creatine kinase, an indicator of muscle breakdown, are often substantially lower in people consuming tart cherries. But perhaps even more importantly for older adults, lowering chronic chronic inflammation allows muscle building pathways to become more responsive again. It is almost like removing static from a radio signal. When inflammation decreases, the message telling muscles to grow becomes much clearer. And there is another fascinating benefit that makes tart cherries especially valuable. They also support better sleep. This matters because one of the largest releases of growth hormone occurs during deep sleep. Growth hormone plays a major role in overnight muscle repair and recovery. Better sleep can lead to better recovery. Better recovery can lead to stronger muscles. And stronger muscles mean greater independence, better mobility, and a higher quality of life as you age. But the next fruit on this list addresses another problem that many people over 60 never even realize they have: poor digestion. And that fruit is kiwi. Poor digestion is one of the most overlooked reasons why many adults continue losing muscle despite increasing their protein intake. After the age of 60, the body naturally begins producing less stomach acid and fewer digestive enzymes. Nutrient absorption also becomes less efficient. As a result, a significant portion of the protein you eat may never be fully broken down into the amino acids your muscles actually need. You may be eating eggs for breakfast, chicken for lunch, and fish for dinner, yet still not getting the full benefit of those foods. This is where kiwi becomes surprisingly powerful. Kiwi contains a unique digestive enzyme called actinidin. Unlike many enzymes that work only under specific conditions, actinidin remains active through different stages of digestion. It helps break down proteins into smaller peptides and free amino acids, making them easier for your body to absorb. Think of actinidin as extra digestive assistance for a system that may no longer work as efficiently as it once did. Research has shown that adding kiwi to a protein-rich meal significantly improves both the speed and completeness of protein digestion. More amino acids are released from food, more enter the bloodstream, and ultimately more become available for muscle repair and growth. For someone over 60, this can make a tremendous difference. After all, muscles cannot build new tissue from amino acids that never reach them. Kiwi also provides another important benefit. It is one of the richest natural sources of vitamin C. In fact, just 2 kiwis can easily provide more than your daily requirement. Many people associate vitamin C only with immunity, but it also plays a crucial role in collagen production. Collagen is essential for maintaining tendons, ligaments, fascia, and the connective tissues that support muscles. Without strong connective tissue, muscle function declines, injury risk rises, and exercise becomes more difficult. As we age, protecting these structures becomes increasingly important. Research has demonstrated that consuming vitamin C before exercise can significantly increase collagen synthesis in tendons. Stronger tendons allow you to tolerate greater physical loads safely, which ultimately provides the stimulus necessary for muscle growth. This means that eating a couple of kiwis before exercise may not only improve protein digestion, but could also help strengthen the structures that allow muscles to function effectively. Kiwi becomes even more valuable for people who are shifting toward plant-based eating patterns. Plant proteins are often more difficult to digest than animal proteins because their structures are tightly packed and frequently bound to fiber and other compounds that limit digestion. Actinidin appears particularly effective at helping break down these plant proteins. So if you are trying to eat more beans, lentils, or whole grains for heart health, kiwi can help improve the amount of amino acids your body actually extracts from those foods. Now let's move to another fruit that almost everyone recognizes but few truly appreciate for muscle health: bananas. Most people think of bananas simply as a source of energy or as a food that helps prevent cramps, but their role in muscle health goes far beyond that. Bananas are among the richest fruit sources of potassium. Potassium is absolutely essential for muscle contraction. Every single movement you make depends on a delicate exchange of sodium and potassium across muscle cell membranes. This process happens millions of times during physical activity. When potassium levels are low, muscles cannot contract as effectively. Strength decreases, fatigue develops more quickly, recovery slows down. And perhaps most importantly, the mechanical stimulus needed to trigger muscle growth becomes weaker. You may be doing the same exercises you performed years ago, but if your potassium status is poor, your muscles may not be receiving the same growth signals. There is also another issue that develops with age. As kidney function gradually changes and dietary habits shift, many older adults experience a mild increase in body acidity, sometimes referred to as low-grade metabolic acidosis. This subtle shift may seem insignificant, but over time it can contribute to muscle breakdown. An acidic internal environment encourages the body to break down muscle proteins and interferes with muscle protein synthesis. Potassium helps counteract this process. By supporting a healthier acid-base balance, bananas may help create a more favorable environment for maintaining lean muscle mass. Studies have shown that higher potassium intake is associated with greater muscle mass and better physical function in older adults, even after after accounting for factors such as protein intake and physical activity. But perhaps the most misunderstood benefit of bananas relates to insulin. Many people have become afraid of carbohydrates. They hear that carbs raise blood sugar and assume they should avoid them entirely. However, when consumed appropriately, especially around exercise, carbohydrates can actually support muscle growth. The primary muscle building pathway in the body requires two major signals. The first is leucine, an amino acid found in protein. The second is insulin. Think of it like a door that requires two keys. Protein provides one key, insulin provides the other. If you eat protein alone, you may activate the system only partially. But when protein is paired with a source of fast digesting carbohydrates, such as a banana, insulin rises enough to fully support the muscle building response. This allows more amino acids to enter muscle cells and increases the efficiency of protein synthesis. In other words, the same amount of protein may become significantly more effective. Bananas also contain vitamin B6, another nutrient involved in amino acid metabolism and energy production. Simple, inexpensive, and easy to eat, bananas may be one of the most practical muscle supporting foods available. But the next fruit on our list surprises almost everyone, because when people think about muscle building foods, they rarely think about avocado. Yet avocado may support muscle growth through one of the most important mechanisms of all, improving insulin sensitivity. As we get older, muscle cells often become less responsive to insulin. This condition does not only affect blood sugar levels, it directly affects muscle growth. When insulin signaling becomes weaker, the body's primary muscle building pathways become less active, and the amino acids from your meals are used less efficiently. Avocado contains a unique compound called avocatin B. Research suggests that this compound helps improve the way muscle cells burn fat for energy and reduces the accumulation of harmful lipid byproducts inside muscle tissue. These lipid compounds are believed to be major contributors to insulin resistance. By reducing their buildup, avocatin B may help restore healthier insulin signaling, and healthier insulin signaling means a stronger muscle building response. But avocado offers even more than that. Avocado offers something that very few other fruits can provide. In addition to supporting insulin sensitivity, it also helps create an internal environment where muscles can actually make use of the nutrients you consume. One of avocado's most valuable components is glutathione, often called the body's master antioxidant. This may sound technical, but its role is incredibly important. When you eat protein, the amino acids released during digestion must enter your muscle cells before they can be used to build new tissue. They cannot simply pass through the cell membrane on their own. Instead, they rely on specialized transporter proteins that carry them into the cell. The problem is that these transporters are highly vulnerable to oxidative stress. As we age, free radical damage accumulates throughout the body. This damage can alter the structure of these transporter proteins, making them less effective at delivering amino acids where they are needed most. You could be eating plenty of protein every day, but if these transport systems are damaged, the building materials for muscle growth may never fully reach their destination. This is where glutathione becomes incredibly valuable. By protecting cell membranes and reducing oxidative damage, glutathione helps preserve the efficiency of these amino acid transporters. Research has shown that lower glutathione levels are associated with reduced leucine uptake inside muscle cells. When glutathione levels improve, amino acid transport becomes more efficient and the muscle building response improves as well. In simple terms, avocado helps ensure that the nutrients you consume can actually get inside your muscle cells. Avocados are also rich in monounsaturated fats, particularly oleic acid, which has important anti-inflammatory properties. Chronic inflammation continuously interferes with muscle growth and recovery. By reducing inflammatory signaling, avocado creates an environment that allows muscle building pathways to function more effectively. And there is another impressive benefit. Avocados are exceptionally rich in potassium, providing even more than bananas. Potassium supports muscle contractions, helps maintain fluid balance, and contributes to a healthier acid-base environment, all of which become increasingly important after age 60. Avocados also provide magnesium, a mineral involved in hundreds of biochemical reactions, including many directly related to protein synthesis, energy production, and muscle function. Simply adding half an avocado to a protein-rich meal may significantly improve the efficiency with which your body uses that meal. But now we enter the top 5 fruits on this list, and this is where the science becomes truly remarkable. Number 5 is pomegranate. At first glance, pomegranate may not seem like a muscle-building food, yet it influences one of the most important processes involved in healthy aging. Inside your muscles are tiny structures called mitochondria. These mitochondria are responsible for producing the energy that powers every movement you make. They allow muscles to contract, recover, and repair themselves. Unfortunately, as we age, mitochondria begin to deteriorate. Damaged mitochondria accumulate inside muscle cells, producing less energy while simultaneously generating more harmful free radicals. Instead of helping the cell, these dysfunctional mitochondria actually begin poisoning it from within. This contributes to fatigue, weakness, slower recovery, and reduced responsiveness to muscle building signals. Pomegranate helps address this issue in an extraordinary way. It contains compounds called L-gitannins. Once these compounds reach the gut, certain beneficial bacteria convert them into a molecule known as urolithin A. And urolithin A may be one of the most exciting compounds ever discovered in muscle aging research. Why? Because it activates a process called mitophagy. Mitophagy is essentially a cellular cleanup system. It identifies damaged mitochondria, removes them, and allows the cell to replace them with newer, healthier, and more efficient ones. Think of it as removing broken engines from a factory and replacing them with brand new ones. The result is a muscle cell that produces energy more efficiently, experiences less oxidative stress, and becomes more responsive to growth signals. Clinical studies have shown that improving mitochondrial function through urolithin A can enhance muscle endurance and physical performance in older adults. Some researchers have even described the benefits as producing effects similar to regular endurance exercise at the cellular level. That is a remarkable finding, but pomegranate appears to offer even more. Research suggests that urolithin A may also help rejuvenate satellite cells. Satellite cells are essentially muscle stem cells. Whenever muscle tissue is damaged through exercise or everyday activity, these cells become activated and help repair and regenerate muscle fibers. Unfortunately, satellite cell function declines with age. Their ability to divide and produce healthy new muscle tissue gradually decreases. Pomegranate appears to help preserve this regenerative capacity. In other words, it may help maintain your muscles' ability to repair themselves. Pomegranate also contains punicic acid, a unique fatty acid that may help reduce fat accumulation inside muscle tissue. This is important because muscles infiltrated with fat become weaker, less responsive to insulin, and less efficient at producing force. Maintaining lean, healthy muscle tissue is essential for preserving strength and mobility as we age. Interestingly, the benefits of pomegranate depend heavily on the health of your gut microbiome. Not everyone produces urolithin A equally. People who consume more fiber-rich foods tend to have larger populations of beneficial bacteria capable of performing this conversion. This means that the overall quality of your diet can influence how much benefit you receive from pomegranate. In many ways, these fruits work together. The fibers found in fruits such as bananas, kiwi, and papaya help nourish the very bacteria that convert pomegranate compounds into urolithin A. Over time, consistent consumption may improve this conversion process and strengthen the muscle supporting effects. Pomegranate also contains powerful antioxidants called punicalagins. These compounds help protect muscle cell membranes and important signaling proteins from oxidative damage. The healthier these signaling pathways remain, the more effectively muscles can respond to exercise and protein intake. And now we arrive at one of the most underrated fruits on the entire list, papaya. Most people think of papaya as simply a tropical fruit with digestive benefits, but recent research suggests it may be far more important for muscle preservation than previously believed. Its secret lies in a compound called beta-cryptoxanthin. Although this nutrient is not widely discussed, studies have shown a surprisingly strong association between higher blood levels of beta-cryptoxanthin and greater muscle mass and strength in older adults. In fact, the relationship appears stronger than with many other well-known antioxidants. Scientists believe that beta-cryptoxanthin may directly support mitochondrial health and activate protective pathways inside muscle cells. Even more interestingly, it appears to reduce the expression of genes involved in muscle breakdown. In other words, papaya may not only help build muscle, it may actively help prevent muscle from being destroyed. And for adults over 60, slowing muscle loss is just as important as stimulating muscle growth. But papaya has another advantage that makes it even more powerful. It contains a remarkable digestive enzyme known as papain,